morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self love, self care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about, do you have a green thumb and plant life? I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Picket Fence.
All right, so Pickett, you got the mindfulness minute for us?
Word up. Mindful. The mindfulness minute once again comes from this little gem that we just recently acquired, the Daily Mindfulness, 365 days of mindfulness. It's a real short one this week, but it's fitting to the subject. It says, people from a planet without flowers would think we. Let me start that over. People from a planet without flowers would think we must be mad with joy the whole time to have such things about us. Uh, you know, and the reason I chose that one, not only because it's with our subject today, but there's an old saying, stop and enjoy the flowers. And just thinking about that, how often do we appreciate the plant life of our planet and a totality of thinking? Not just pretty flowers like roses and lilies and lavender and things like that, but the trees that are basically like a filter system for us and help us breathe, and give us oxygen. Plants is in the food we eat. You don't think of it, but your corn, your potatoes, your greens, string beans, tomatoes.
Okay, so now you're making me hungry. So I need you to cut that out, sir. So, do you have a green thumb?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And what's funny about that is when I got out of college and I lived in Detroit for a while, that was the job that I was doing. I was making flower beds, planting flowers, pretty much from sun up to sundown. And I think, I had someone guiding me, so that kind of, made it easier because all the flowers that I planted flourished. And I think because I had someone saying, here's the soil, they bought the soil, here's the soil. This is how I want the box made. These are the flowers that I want. They went and got those specific flowers, or I went and got those specific flowers. I even planted a couple of Japanese maple trees while I was up there. And they said, first you got to dig a hole. You want to put some river rocks as a bed down there. Then you want to put the tree in there and then refill it with, good topsoil. So I had someone guiding me to, say, this is what's going to make the plants grow. And I've had a couple of plants, many, many years later, and they just die. they just die. I had a couple of times where I planted flowers, out in front of the house, and some of them would make it, some of them wouldn't. I had some that this year that decided not to bloom until like November. And it was just like one little plant tried to bloom when it was already getting cold outside. It was real strange. So I would say I definitely do not have a green thumb. What about you?
I'm going to have to say absolutely not. And to be honest, I never wanted one. I was never interested in learning how to plant flowers and things and make them grow. Now, I do enjoy to look at them. My grandmother was her thumb was very green. So she had a lot of plants and a lot of flowers. So I got to see really nice ones by going to her house, and she had a full garden, her and grandpa. And they grew food and they grew plants. So I ate what grandma grew. I looked at grandma's plants and flowers, but never had a desire to learn how to do it on my own. I've been gifted with plants over the years, and I've done my best to keep them alive. Some of them made it for a couple of months. Some of them made it for a couple of weeks, and I just realized that maybe it's just not meant for me to be a grower myself. Maybe I am meant to be an appreciator of the hard work that other people put into gardening and the hard work that the creator puts into creating these wonderful things for us to look upon and to eat. So in that regard, I am a consumer and not a producer.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that I don't know. I can't say that I don't have the time. I guess I don't have the patience to really focus on nurturing a plant. Now, did you have plants in the house growing up?
No, only when my dad bought my mom flowers, and of course, when you buy flowers in the store, they don't last for forever. So yeah, there was no plant life in our house. My mother also did not inherit my grandmother's green thumb.
Well, now see, that's the thing. Now, we did have plants in the house, and we had, how houses from the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, had those little hooks in the ceiling for like plant hangers. We had some of those. We had ferns. We had, I guess, the ones that grow real long. They're called spider plants. We had a plant stand that had like 2 or 3 different types of plants. We didn't have a garden outside, but we did have plants in the house. And just doing some research for the show, there are a lot of benefits for having plants in your home. And one of the most important one is the air. It purifies the air in the house. And I noticed, like, being older, it seems like the house is more dusty. And I think that having plants is one of those things that cuts down, as far as it's looking up information. And I don't remember having to dust all the time as a kid. And we, like I said, we had several plants. So I think that that's a benefit that is true, that it helps purify and clean the air. So we had several different times. I know we had a ferns hanging from the ceiling. We had one of those spider plants, and every time it got too long, my mother would give it a little snip, put it in an old jelly jar, and start another plant. So we were always, even if a plant was dying, another plant was on its way growing.
Wow. Now, I will say that my grandma and grandpa definitely had the gift, because I was gifted a plant once and it was dying. I told grandma, I said, "Grandma, this plant is dying." She's like, "Bring it over. I can fix it." I'm like, "Grandma, no, it's turning brown. There's no way you're going to fix this plant. It's a wrap." Sure enough, I took that thing to grandma's house and went back about 2-3 weeks later, and it looked like a whole new plant. It was flourishing and growing and pretty green. And she's like, "Oh yeah, when I get time this weekend, I'm gonna go put that outside in the garden with the rest of them." And I'm going, "How did you do that?" And she said, "Well, it's not that hard, Nick." And I'm like, "That's easy for you to say." So for somebody like me who didn't have, a green thumb or whatever, grandma tried for the longest. She really did try to get me to be more interested, to really learn and really do it. I just don't have it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I won't say I don't have it. I'll just say I don't have a desire really, but I know that there's a need. It's always better to have, better air and all the different benefits. And I want to make an effort of trying to, if maybe not inside, maybe outside, maybe have some pretty flowers outside, and, and as they come to, their full length, cut them down, bring them inside, to have some pretty flowers for, once you cut them, they're going to die, but, put them in a little vase. A plant, it just seems like a lot of work. I know there's people that, you always have to check the soil. You have to check and make sure it's water. You have to know how many times you water a plant a day, a week. how many days a week you water it. You got to have the right type of soil. It's got to get, and even though it's in the house, it needs some type of sunlight. Some plants, I guess most of them, all of them, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. And then, there's people that sing to their plants and talk to them. And it just seems like a lot of work. But I mean, let me just read some benefits that they say, are good to have a plant.
Okay.
I was just looking at some earlier, and let's see. I know the first one, it says that plants, they purify your air. Like I said earlier, purify the air in your house. They say that plants may assist in building your immune system, helping with your immune system. So that's something we all need in today's times. Everybody should be trying to get a better immune system, like we've talked about a lot on the show, because of the pandemic that we're going through. They say that they boost your work place performance. I remember when I did work in corporate, I worked in a call center for many years, and there will be people that had plants on their desk at work. And I really couldn't get that. Like, you're not here all the time. You're here for your 8-hour shift. Why you got a plant on your desk? But, and that leads to the last one that I'll talk about is they say that it reduces stress. And working in a place like a call center, that's something that you need is as less stress as possible, because it's like being in an argument for 8 hours a day most days. So, I mean, looking back on it, I could see it, but just at the time I was young, 20s, I'm like, why are these people have plants on their desk? You're getting water all over the desk, you're getting dirt all over the desk. But, just thinking about those few benefits, I think that it would be worth trying. And I'm, just pricing plants here and there, just passing through the store, not, for any particular reason. I know that there's some plants that aren't that expensive. Our daughter, I got her a plant one time, an aloe vera plant, and that didn't live a long time, but it was inexpensive. It was like $3.99 or something like that for a small little plant. And I got her, what's the little bubbly looking things?
A succulent.
Succulent. I got her one of those, and I think those were like 10 for 10 when I got it. So, but once again, I think that knowing the effort that it takes to cultivate a plant, it kind of, makes me want to be like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that, thinking about the amount of work that's involved is definitely something to consider. So if you are a person who you're not home a lot, or you're busy a lot, and then when you are home, you're basically just eating, showering, and sleeping, then, maybe a plant is not for you. As much as you would like to have one, it truly is a commitment to have a plant, to cultivate a plant. Like you said, you have to talk to it, you have to water it, you have to know what kind of soil you're using, and nutrients and things of that nature. So my advice to you, if you are considering getting some plants, do a lot of research. Find some plants that fit your lifestyle. So there are some plants out there that are low maintenance plants that don't really require much of you as the plant owner. So I would advise to look into that. Succulents are really good if you don't have a lot of time, because they don't really require a lot. Aloe vera plants, like you mentioned earlier, are actually really good. I would stay away from official flowers like lilies or roses, because they do require a lot of work. I would definitely go more on your like the greener side of plants, and like the plants that have the big elephant ears, those big giant plants. Those are really good for cleaning the air. Definitely, they're very low maintenance. The main thing that they require though is a lot of sunlight. So you have to look at that, as well as what is the lighting like in your house? Do you have windows? Do you have a window space that is big enough for a plant of that size. So there are definitely things to consider before you dive into, wanting to be a plant owner or a plant cultivator. So I would suggest for anybody, do your research before you just, I'm going to go get a plant and it's going to be great. No.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I big ups to people who do have plants. I know some people that have lots of plants. Shout out to our good friend Herb Booker, who has lots and lots of plants inside and now outside. Ross and Chelsea down at the Bear House, they're both plant parents and are always talking about plants and how you should get a plant, Pickett. I'm like, nah.
And as you're mentioning our friend too, bro, you can't leave out Dre Clark, who has Beats by Dre.
Yep, and has been growing peppers for quite a few years now, so he's got a knack for it. And Audra, David Sparks, they have plants inside and out of the house. So I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people that do have the time and the knowledge to have plants. Like I said, I did it when I was much younger, just far as outside and I can attest to the part where it says that it reduces stress, because even though I didn't know what I was doing 100%, I was just following instructions of the person that I was doing the work for, that it was relaxing work. I didn't mind having to work from sun up to sundown, because I was chilling. I could take a break when I wanted to. I got, it wasn't like I was working for a corporate place, so I could have me a drink of adult beverage while I was working. that made it really great, And like I said, and then once you see, you come back a few weeks later and those plants are starting to blossom, and you can appreciate, like you said, looking at flowers has always been great. Never seen, a time where I'd be like, oh, look at those ugly flowers, I think my thing is, and like you were saying, is the parenting and the cultivating of the plants and flowers is kind of the thing that makes you kind of be like, I don't know if I want to really do this. But the outcome is, I can see the benefits of the outcome. So I think that I might have to, give the old college try, as they say. Start off something, like you said, do the research. Start off something small, something that's very, very low maintenance, and just see how it works. We acquired a plant in November, and it's kind of dying, but it's been a couple months. It's been hanging on, I just been I don't even know how often I'm supposed to water. I just water it once a week, I think. I've been keeping it in the light though as much as possible. But I think I don't even know what the kind of plant it is either, so.
Well, I kind of know what kind of plant it is. I have the little card that came with it, so I have to look at the card. But I do have that little card that has the name of it on there, and it's escaping me right now because, it's escaping me. But it is looking really good. Like having it sitting, near the sun and everything I think that's helping it to flourish.
Well, I wouldn't say it's flourishing. It's pretty close to dead, but.
No, it's all green and stuff again now.
I don't think so. You gotta take a look. It looked like somebody probably was eating it or something. I don't know. I don't know. And another thing, I think it's like a couple of different types of plants in there.
It could be.
Like in a big basket, because it had I think lilies in it, but the lilies didn't make it. So it's like a combination plant. It's a biplantual plant.
A biplantual plant. Are you saying that the plant is bipolar? Okay.
Not bipolar. It's
biplantual.
It's mixed.
It's mixed.
Yes. Biplantual.
That is the best.
It's biplantual. It's mixed with different kind of plants. So I think that should be our self-care assignment for this week.
What's that?
Do some research and buy you a plant. Start off small, do the research, and get you a plant. And when you're looking for a plant, look for some of those benefits that we talked about. Look for a plant that cleans the air in the house, along with looking pretty in the house. You know what I mean? Now I know you're gonna dive deep into some more reasons why people should have plants. So let's get to that favorite part of the show. Boom, 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 boom. Brain science.
All right, so this week our brain science is why houseplants make you feel good, especially right now while we are still in somewhat of a quarantine pandemic situation. So most people think of houseplants as a way to beautify an indoor space, but beyond aesthetics, having a few plants scattered around your home may also provide important benefits to your emotional well-being during the pandemic, according to new studies by Urban Forestry and Urban Greening. So let's get into it. Why do plants help us feel better? Plants help us feel better because research has shown that actively interacting with plants can reduce physical and emotional stress through effects mediated by the cardiovascular system, particularly by reducing sympathetic tone and lowering your blood pressure, while also promoting relaxing and soothing feelings. So, Dr. Kaplan, a well-known clinical psychologist, has also said that derived health benefits may have something to do with the biophilia concept, which proposes that human comfort from naturalistic elements is rooted in psychological adaptations from our evolutionary history. Houseplants can also remind us of the positive experiences we've had in green spaces that may make it less easy for people to access safely now during the pandemic. Thus, it boosts our mood. So as you're looking at your plants, it reminds you of that time you went to the park, or you went to the greenhouse that's over by the Girl Scouts, or you went to, the Boone Shop and you saw the wonderful plants. Now that we are no longer allowed to go to those public spaces because of safety reasons, you can have those same benefits and that same feeling by putting those plants in your home. I like that. So, getting benefits from plants in low light homes, which this is me, my house does not have a lot of light. So people who live in homes with big sunny windows can easily add a few houseplants to their home for a greater sense of well-being. But where does that leave the millions of urban dwellers around the world, many of whom lived in cramped apartments with little natural light? The benefits of nature are not limited to direct exposure. Studies have shown that just seeing images of green spaces when compared to images of urban settings show similar benefits to being exposed to nature itself. You could also try spending more time outdoors while following all pandemic safety precautions like masking, social distancing, so that you feel better about exploring your world, which is fantastic. So what does all of this mean for you? The pandemic has made a profound impact on many people's mental health. The study shows that bringing plants in your home may offer some much needed emotional benefits while we're stuck at home. If you live in a home with little to no natural light, or you just don't have a green thumb, you may be able to get similar benefits through artificial plants, spending time in parks, or even looking at images of nature. The key to getting a mood boost from plants and nature is to engage with them mindfully. So be mindful as you look at them, appreciate the color. What shade of green is it? Is it a light green? Is it a really dark, deep green? So as you mindfully look at the plants and you mindfully interact with them, it will give your brain a boost. It gives your mood a boost, and it makes having to practice safety precautions a little bit easier for all of us.
Word up. I like that. When I was doing some research and I had peeped the brain science that you did today, and one thing that you're talking about, looking at nature. I saw the little blurb that said that even having fake plants could give you that sentiment in your mind of nature.
Hmm.
So that might be a route for some people who don't even, or just totally terrified of going down being the plant parent route. Get you a couple of fake plants. You know what I'm saying? Set them around the house so that you know that it can have some of those same calming effects. Now it won't clean your air unless you have like a plant that is actually a mechanical device that's an air purifier, but it can give you that calming, soothing effect that plants seem to give people. So if you're totally terrified, like I'm kind of terrified, you might want to invest in fake plants. You know, you can get a fake little tree, you can get fake aloe vera, you could get a fancy pot, you know, a sculpture that has a fake plant coming in it, or something that I just thought about this real low maintenance that I see all the time, like at Kroger's and Walmart, is the little bamboo plant that'll be in a little fancy like little pot, just
Hmm.
the bamboo or something like that. May have a little statue in it or something like that. This calming and soothing. That might be something that you want to do if you are totally terrified of becoming a plant parent.
I like it.
Word
So,
up.
as always, you can follow us for more tips on plant life, plant parenting. We dropped some names in this episode. You're welcome to go look those people up on social media, or as we always say, we all got the same internet. Hit up YouTube, learn some things about yourself. You can even take a quiz or a survey to find out what kind of plant owner you are, if you didn't know already, before you go to spend a lot of money and invest time and money into owning plants. Take into account the things that Pickett and I have said. And don't forget your brain science. Just get some greenery around you. It doesn't have to be that expensive. The benefits are endless for your mind, right?
Exactly. And if you don't have green around your house and you don't want to do it, make sure you eat something green every day. Eat you a salad a day. We talked about that before. Shout out to TK. Have you something green to eat every day. That is self-care. Whether it be kale, romaine, spinach, greens, green apples, cucumbers, celery. Eat you some green every day. And as always, please, please tell your friends about us. Go to us on Facebook, Fly With Us Podcast. Invite your friends and follow us on this journey. Fly with us on this journey. You heard?
I like it. All right. So, as Pickett said, you can always email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. Check out the daily self-care assignments on all of our social media platforms. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Picket Fence.
And we out of here.
Peace.